would like to share the experience due to this operation that had a complication, and also the importance of certain factors in this rehabilitation. So yes, when it happened with the brain bleeding of this operation, then I was brought to intensive care. First, I actually was in coma. I didn't recover from this trauma. Then they did another operation where they inserted a shunt, and from this I recovered very well. Then I was brought to the rehab, where I had to learn everything: memory, balance training. I still have actually double sight, so I had to take care of all these medical things. And after 3.5 months, I could get out, and I continued with an ambulatory rehab. I started to work again slowly, but I was still recovering. I wasn't allowed to work so much because of this medical trauma in my brain. And during this time, I just realized what is actually really important to actually support our, this recovery. And I would like to now give you a few examples of good examples and also the negative examples during my recovery. So the first is that the doctors, they need to have a realistic optimism, because, for instance, when I was in the rehab, one doctor said, "Hey, your daughter will never be the same anymore. You need to come to terms with it." And so my family was shocked that when they heard about it. But on the other side, we had Dr. Kulchar, who was always realistic, optimistic. So he said, it's going to be a long journey. Something terrible happened, but she will recover because she's young and healthy. And this was so much needed, because even though I was in coma, the monitors showed that my reaction when they visited me and they spoke to me. And so it was really important that they kept coming and talking to me, and all of that was really important. On the other side, after 1 year or so, when I got out of the rehab and I had still this double sight, the specialist said, well, now after 1 year, you still have double sight. It hasn't changed, this prisma correction. So you're fully treated. You just need to live with it. You're going to have double sight forever. And I was devastated, because I was hoping that everything is going to get well. And I was this is now going to stay forever. And I will have balance disorders. I will have tension. I will be very restricted without my glasses. And so I also didn't want to accept it. So I spoke to Dr. Kulchar and also my neurologist, and they both gave me hope. They said, hey, it's possible that you recover. You have 10 years to recover. So I started my own therapy, and I went to the specialist and said, hey, please, I want to now force my eye to actually reduce this deviation. And so she gave me some foil that I could put on my glasses, and by now I'm doing this therapy at the moment. It's now 9 months, and I managed to reduce the double sight now by 50%. So now it's actually much better already. So now I would like to share some examples of the importance that the patient doesn't give up and really fights if something like this happens. And here I've got some good positive examples which supported that. So this was the example, when I was in the intensive care, that my family kept coming, talking to me, and you could see my reactions in the monitor. So that was really positive that they did that they didn't give up. The next example was when I was in rehab. I got a job coach and also the support from the invalidity insurance representative. And I had someone that I could continuously call and ask and get support of all my issues that I was facing, medical and also personal difficulties. And that was really helpful that I had someone, like basically a personal psychologist, that was just supporting me in this time. Then at some point I wanted to, start wearing contact lenses because I just like it much better, but also in order to be able to do certain sports activities. So I started wearing these contact lenses, but then somehow, because of like they're really thick and they really move like the vision, to where the double side is, and that's like something for the brain, I think, really tiring and challenging. So at the beginning I couldn't really cope with it, and I was like, had like lots of back pain, neck pain. I had like certain like also sports accidents because of these contact lenses. So I really struggled with it. But then I had with this job coach, he just said, hey, you need to do small but steady steps. So you're not allowed to wear these contact lenses more than half an hour every day more. So I really followed this kind of recommendations, and by now I'm like I adapted very well to these contact lenses, so now it's fine. Then, when I got out of the rehab, and I was also facing certain personal challenges, at some point, I was like having dinner with friends, and one of my best friends is a doctor. And so she also, followed this whole journey, and she knew everything what happened to me. And at some point I was like, hey, I'm so overwhelmed. I can't now cope with this whole situation anymore. It's so difficult with all the doctors and all the personal challenges I have to deal with. And I just thought it's because it's just so much. And then she had this idea. She was like, hey, did you ever think of that maybe your shunt that you have in is not adjusted well anymore? And I just looked at her. No one had told me that. But thanks to the fact that she supported me, and I went to see then the doctor, and they were like, oh, let's change the shunt, move it to one level higher, and then you'll see what happens. And actually, after 3 days, I had suddenly again clear vision, like clear mental, my brain wasn't blurred anymore, and I could then start again moving on, and it really changed also my life in this sense. Here then at some point I also started seeing like a neurologist, because I was like, hey, I have so many issues that I have to deal with. I need support, and then he gave me recommendations what I should do in order to be able to actually recover quickly. And so he said, you need to really make sure that you eat healthy, that you do sports, that you sleep well and enough, that you have no stress, and that you do mental activities or your work. And I really also followed rigorously these recommendations, and this also helped me to recover quickly. And then here, with regards to sports, because I had these difficulties, especially with the eyes, that I couldn't see properly, then I started new sports activities to be still able to do sports. So I started crawling, that I could see underwater, even though I had the double sight, and I started doing cross-country ski because it was less dangerous than skiing. So this also was really supportive. So yes, that's now my presentation. I hope that you could learn something from it. If you have any further questions and you want to speak to me about it, feel free to get in touch. And thank you for your attention.